Bank sales staff across the 9 biggest retail banks in New Zealand earned $71 million in variable pay linked to performance measures in the year to March. Now, before your eyes glaze over, what does that mean? Well, in plain English, they got an extra $71 million in bonuses and incentives for selling you loans and products from the banks. That's 9% of their total pay. And the Financial Markets Authority found that staff were incentivised to encourage customers to borrow money, invest or take out more insurance through their banks that they may not need or actually want. The behaviour of big Australian-owned banks has come under scrutiny across the ditch, but would we expect Kiwibank, the bank that says it's for New Zealanders by New Zealanders, to be doing the same? The CEO of Kiwibank, Steve Jurkovich, joins me now. Hi there. Can you tell me what is the incentives that you offer your staff for selling product on the front line of your bank?
Hi Lisa, look, there's a range of incentives across the whole organisation. One of the things that we've committed ourselves to was, rather than make some sort of decision about, it's a certain class of team member that might be subject to those sorts of that scrutiny or review, we've gone from, my role right through to everyone in the business. So we certainly take the findings seriously that came back from FMA and RBNZ. We've been working on it for about 6 months. We got the report last week. We're getting an individual report next week. Those are all important factors. You also have to bear in mind that people do have individual employment relationships with us, and so it's not just a matter of a broad brush change.
Okay,
we have to respect the individuals.
I get that. But my question was, what are the incentives that you offer sales staff? What percentage do they get paid of what they sell, or how does it work? Talk me through it. What are the numbers?
Oh, sure. So, there's a balanced scorecard about the outcomes. So in some roles, there'll be around making sure that the customer satisfaction is high. In others, it'll be making sure that a certain number of reviews are done of customers to make sure their needs are being met. So it's a real balance between how many conversations are going on and what sort of conversations we want to have with those customers. So it's really hard to give you sort of one view, because a business relationship manager will have a different scorecard to a frontline teller. Okay,
well, let's use a simple example. If I sell you insurance, do I get a percentage of what I sell you? Like 30%, for example?
No, you don't. You'd have to ask the insurance industry about the direct remuneration, but no one at Kiwibank's on that sort of arrangement.
Okay, so the FMA says on average that staff get an extra $6,000 through incentives. Would that be a fair representation of what your bank is doing too?
Look, I think as a percentage we would be significantly lower than the industry, but there will certainly be frontline staff who receive that sort of amount.
Okay, the big Aussie banks, they have said that they've taken those incentives away from their frontline staff. Why is Kiwibank following in this and not leading?
Well, it's a great question and a great challenge. I think a fair one, Lisa. From my perspective, I don't think deciding that frontline staff who are dealing with customers changes the behaviour of the whole organisation. So my very strong view is that from chief executive through to our frontline teams, everyone's incentives needs to be reviewed, and that everyone needed to be considered in the context of, are we driving for the great customer outcomes we're after? So I don't think particularly picking on branch staff or business banking staff and then not tackling general managers and executive general managers makes a lot of sense.
Appreciate that, but obviously customers would wonder why you don't make the immediate changes right now. You can do it in a staged way. Your bank says Kiwi values at heart. So are those customers, are they at the heart of those values?
Oh, I think they are. Look, I'm really confident. And I think
then why not do something straight away?
Well, I think you need to make sure that you really are incenting and rewarding the right behaviour. I'm certainly not aware of, and our work didn't reveal any situation where an incentive was playing a part in a customer not getting a great outcome.
Well, the review actually said that overall some customers were being sold products that they weren't being fully informed about. Some of the examples they give are that they were swapped to credit cards that were more costly. They were switched to products where the fees were not explained to them, and that's the overall report. Are you saying that your bank didn't do any of that stuff?
Oh, no, I don't think any bank can say that, Lisa. I think there will always be, when you've got 1 million customers, there's always going to be a situation where a customer's needs are misunderstood or a team member had a different idea about what they were trying to achieve. So certainly not from my perspective. What I can say is we take it super seriously. My commitment is I don't want any customer ever feel that we've tried to push something on them. I know the ratings there showed us as the least likely to be doing that. But regardless of that, I think we have to be very, very open-minded and embrace that scrutiny. And look, public opinion is, obviously strongly against that sort of situation. We take that seriously and we will act on it. I just want to really understand the full report.
Mr. Jurkovich, what deadline are you giving yourselves to get rid of these targets?
By the end of our financial year, we will have resolved and put in play with our own team what the structures are that we're going to go forward. But, to be fair, our team will be the first people we speak to rather than the public about that.
All right, appreciate you joining us this afternoon. That is the CEO of Kiwibank, Steve Jurkovich, there, talking about the fact that, Kiwibank is still offering incentives to their staff for selling financial products.